Going to get 2 darts at tops for a 2-0 lead. Can he just bump off the barrel? The answer is yes, he can. Emphatic from Everts, and it is 2-0 to Super Ted.
Ted car 24.
3-match darts have come and gone for Ted Everts. But he needs no more. Ted Everts, a clean, clinical, polished performance there to kickstart his day. He's told us exactly what he needs to do today. Just win 5 games. Then it doesn't matter about the legs. It doesn't matter about the other permutations. And he has kick-started his day with the perfect start. An average just shy of 95. He's trying to have a look at the monitors on his way off the stage. He is happy enough with that performance. A 4-1 victory over Jimmy Van Ski. Coming up next, it's another player in this race for the top place. Scott Taylor takes on Ollie Holtkamp.
You played throwing like Ricky Evans.
Oh, this is a more drastic change of pace. He's
60.
Literally right up to the hockey before Scott Taylor's even moved. The head is a bit mushy at the moment. He's had enough.
85. Scott car 116.
4 19s. Leaves tops. Can he find a treble? Yes, he can.
Game shot.
And there it is. It's a ton topper for Scott Taylor, who gets his final day off with a 4-1 win over Ollie Holtkamp. He cuts the gap again at the top to Ted Everts. 2 of the leaders have played and they have both secured points. There we are, 90.97 average for Taylor. And up next is the turn of Sebastian Beety. Can he add 2 points to his tally and join the other 2 as he takes on Steve?
European players, the use of the board and the board management. But this is a finish he's already took out this week. He took it out on day 1 to win his fixture. And what a way to start the day for Sebastian Beety. Steve Hine, just a little nod of appreciation at the back of the stage. But he must be feeling that this is just happening to him all over again.
3-match darts in hand, and for the first time this week to win his opening game of the day. And it only takes one. Sebastian Beety as a 4-1 victor over Steve Hine. He joins at the top of the table with Ted Everts again. The top 3 came in with pressure on their shoulders and they've all answered the questions. 97-3-1 for Beety, and he says, over to you guys. And up next, we're going to see Jimmy Van Ski against Scott Taylor.
$140. Jimmy car 76.
But Jimmy Van Ski looking at 76 for a 2-1 lead. He's going to get 2 at double 8. Only needs the 1.
Jimmy Van Ski
108. He's going to get a dart at tops. And that is a huge win for Scott Taylor. He doesn't give much away on the hockey, but we saw there from that huge bit of emotion from him. There he puffs the cheeks out and says, wow, the title race has taken another twist. Scott Taylor has gone level at the top for the first time, and he puts the pressure back on Sebastian Beety and Ted Everts, who face off next in a mouth-watering clash.
Ted car 108.
So 108 for an early breaker throw for Super Ted. Is going to get a dart, a double 16, and that is huge, and he knows it as well.
Sebastian car 170.
He couldn't, could he? Another bullseye. Oh, not this time.
Ted car 86.
A bit of reaction from Beety for the first time in 4 years.
Little smirk as he misses. Can Everts rescue the situation on double 7? He can. That is 2 clutch finishes from Super Ted when it matters to go top. Double 12. That's a long way inside. 1 more. He's missed 2 already. He's missed 3.
12.
It's not in, Sebastian.
Car 40.
Well, Well, this is a chance I think Ted Everts probably didn't expect to have.
Game shot on the 6th leg.
He's won.
Ted Everts.
He is up to the challenge. Completely outscoring him in this one.
129.
Ted Everts doing his job. Bielecki not up to the task, not up to the challenge. Ted Everts
Ted
to
Ricard,
install
56.
himself as favourite once again for this group.
It's going to be 2 at tops. Double 10 got him out of jail last time. And it gets him out of jail again. Ted Everts comes from behind to beat Sebastian Beety 4 legs to 3, and he goes top of the table and is now favourite to book his place in Saturday night's final. We see the averages there. Big gulf in them, but Ted won't care about that because he is the one that has the points on the board. Coming up after the break, we're going to have Ollie Holtkamp against Steve Hine. Tops for 2-0 for the Muffin Man.
20.
Another opportunity gone. Maybe you should leave double 8 more often.
Yeah, go 4 double 8, Steve. He might not get a shot though. Holtkamp. Tops. Beautiful finish.
Ollie Holtkamp.
Probably many a times. It was a very back and forwards.
Bullseye. Oh my, that is absolute magic from Ollie Holtkamp. He has produced 2 ton toppers, but that is absolutely sublime.
1 from 11. And this is an exhibition of finishing from Ollie Holtkamp. 118, 167 and 88, all in the minimum darts possible.
All eyes would be on that race for the title. Now, can Holtkamp find ball? He can't. So Steve Hine will be back to send us to a last leg decider if he can pin the 74.
74. $49.
He's missed the dart at the ball to do it. But now, match point, Holtkamp.
Getting shot in the match, Ollie Holtkamp.
Ollie Holtkamp only needs the 1 dart, pins double 16 for a 4-2 win over Steve Hine. But that match was all about those 3 legs in succession where Holtkamp went on the charge, taking out 3 huge finishes, including that mouth-watering 1-6-7. But coming up after the break, Sebastian Beety takes on Jimmy Vansky. Vansky has not made up his mind. He's gone the ball route. It's going to be 1 dart, double 16 for a huge win. And there it goes. It is 4-0 to Jimmy Vansky, and that is a huge shock in terms of beating Sebastian Beety. We can see there the look of disgust from Beety as he walks off the stage, and that could be it in terms of his title race. But coming up next, we're going to have Scott Taylor, who has chance to go level with Ted Everts at the top of the table if he can get the better of Steve Hine.
Scott
like one of those toffee muffins. I'm going to keep going with the toffee muffin, Steve, till you give me one. But he's had one of these hit against him already today, has Steve Hine, and there's another one. What a turnaround there for Scott Taylor. He's going to be a player in Group C, is the Muffin Man. And he's had this hit against him a few times. He could retaliate.
145. Scott Taylor, 143.
That would have been magical from the Muffin Man. But 143 from Taylor. Treble 17 is not going to go. So Steve Hine will be back.
91. Steve Ricard, 25. Getting shot on the match, Steve
Absolutely sensational from the Muffin Man. An average in excess of 102. He can't win the title, but he is having his say on it. He's looking up for the averages. He wants to know how good that was. Keep looking, Steve, and there will appear but Scott Taylor now has work to do if he's to win this. It is now all in Ted Everett's hands, and he'll be in action next.
42.
And that might be
Car
a
10.
costly mistake in regards to this fixture. We know his fate already is going to be in Group C, but the fate of Ted Everett's
is now firmly in his own hands. Ted Everett's has gone 4 points clear at the top of Group A with a 4-0 whitewash of Ollie Holtkamp. Ted looking around, looking for the average, and there it is, Ted, 85-89 for Super Ted. He was always in control of this one, and now his destiny is firmly in his own hands. It's only going to be a mistake that potentially cost him, but coming up after the break, another one at the top of the table, which will have a huge bearing as Sebastian Beety takes on Scott Taylor.
Another
Beautiful
here from Scott Taylor. It looks like Sebastian Beety may have just taken one blow too many here.
Double 10. And this time, Beety finds double 10. He beats Scott Taylor 4-2. The dream result for Ted Everett's, as his nearest rival is beaten by Beety. He looks up, averaging 102.50. A couple of missed darts in that final leg sent the average plummeting from 110, but he won't mind. It's all about the victory. Coming up after the break, we're going to see Ollie Holtkamp against Jimmy Van Scheen.
Well, we've seen this plenty of times this week. We could see it again.
Bullseye.
123.
Not this time.
Jimmy Car 16. Game shot on the match, Jimmy Van Scheen.
And there it is. It is a 4-0 whitewash for Jimmy Van Scheen over Ollie Holtkamp. It's a match that he's absolutely dominated here. He's just having a look up as the players walk off. But a huge gap in the averages. 92.49 for Van Scheen. A very, very good performance from him. But coming up after the break, Ted Everett's can seal his place at the top of Group A and a place in Saturday night's final as he takes on Steve Hine. Sharing a room, but I know him and Bradley Brooks travelled down together.
Game shot on the second leg.
Big moments here. Is Group A taking another twist, Matt?
2 darts at tops for Sebastian. And that completes the task for Sebastian Beety. He needed to beat Ollie Holtkamp to have any hope of qualifying and winning this Group A. He has done his job. All he can do now is go to the back room, pour himself a glass of water and sit back and watch the next game, Ted Everett's versus Scott Taylor, to decide who is going to be winning Group A.
It's only going to be one at tops. Tops for the opener. Sensational from Everett's. He wasn't sure if it was in. He had to peer around that dart. He's literally just sent one over the top. 419s leave tops. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Ted Everett's. Taylor wants tops. Taylor pins tops, beats Everett's, and in the process, Sebastian Beety comes from absolutely nowhere to win Group A and book his place in the final. A puff of the cheeks there from Taylor says it all. 13% from Everett's. That was his undoing, and that's what ultimately cost him the title.
Well, the way Steve Hine's been playing today, I wouldn't put it past him to just pick a shot like this out of nowhere. The bullseye.
Game shot on the first. Jimmy Car 104.
Describe irony in a game of darts. Well, that becomes a genuine possibility. Double 16.
Game shot on the fifth leg. Jimmy Van Scheen.
It's a cruel game sometimes, isn't it?
Jimmy O'Carr 36.
So this time, double 18 for a 4-2 victory.
Game shot
And
of the
there
match,
we have
Jimmy
it.
Van Schie.
Jimmy Van Schie, 4-2 win over Steve Hine to complete the action in Group A. It was Hine who dominated early on in this one, but Van Schie getting back into it. 4 from 11 on the outer ring, 1 maximum from him. But Group A, all about the tussle at the top. Ted Everts blew a golden opportunity. Congratulations to Sebastian Beety, who is confirmed in Saturday night's final. Super stuff from the poll. And how will Everts react to the disappointment? We'll have to put it behind him, because it is a tough Group B campaign that he has. But all eyes are now on him as we hand over to Henry and Matt.
Yeah, thank you very much, Phil. Goodness me, I tell you what a dramatic afternoon we've seen here at the Super Series. Now, we were chatting after the 9th game of the day, Matt, about Ted Everts and that how it felt possibly this is pretty much done. It was a race that he was going to get over the line in, but we said those 2 fixtures at the end could be difficult. Proved to be that way.
We flagged it up as a possibility. It looked simple, didn't it, at that point? And we said it looks like it's done and dusted, but it was far from so. Those 2 defeats that Ted Everts took at the end of yesterday, 4-0 and 4-1, really did put him on the back foot in terms of that leg difference category. And yeah, he just couldn't get over the line in the end. He had so many opportunities against Scott Taylor. That one's going to hurt and smart, but he'll be refreshed and ready to go tomorrow.
Well, let's round up all the drama we have seen here at the Super Series today. These are the results then from the 15 matches that we have seen. Well, it started off superbly for Ted Everts. He said in his interview with Phil Bars before that game against Jimmy Van Schie that 5 wins from 5, he'll be through. He won his first 3 and he looked quite comfortable in 2 of those games as well. It drifted apart at the end. But that crucial game, as crucial as the end part was for Ted Everts, was as crucial as that game 10 was between Sebastian Beety and Scott Taylor, because effectively the way the results went was the winner of that game would go on and win the group. It was Beety who won that one, and it is he who is through to Saturday night's final. Right, let's have a chat about Sebastian then, and a little bit more context. What did he do so right that was the key difference today?
Won his games. That's all it is. It did the right things at the right times. There was nothing he did that other players didn't do. There was nothing he did that was special and stood out above everybody else, because everyone did special things. Everyone hit big stuff up here on this stage. It has been one of the most entertaining Group A's I have ever been a part of. But Sebastian Beety, that model of consistency, that B game level being high enough to get those wins, so when the A game comes, it really does matter. He's been so consistent, but consistently brilliant.
And as well, he had quite a fast start, didn't he, to the day? Well, this was as good as it can get as far as he's concerned, to kick the day off against Steve Hine, a big fish finish, and Steve Hine's had everything thrown at him throughout the course of this Group A campaign. But did that fast start actually just help him just to build a bit of momentum as the day went along?
Well, it put a problem right, didn't it? Because the last couple of days, game number 1's been the problem match for him. He's lost that opening fixture. And it just set you up for a day in terms of you feel like you're chasing, you've got to try and find a way back into the tournament or back into play. He didn't have to do that today. He started well. He was able to keep that going. But today's the day to do that. You can get away with it on a Monday. You can get away with it on a Tuesday. You can't on a Wednesday, especially when you've got 3 big hitters at the top of the table.
And there was 3 big hitters for sure. Let's talk about Ted then. As I say, he got off to a great start. He won his opening 3 matches. Going into tomorrow, what has he got to do overnight to try and get this out of the system as quickly as he possibly can?
He'll have the answer to that. That's very subjective to the individual, and he's been around long enough. Now, when we talk about someone who's quite inexperienced, we often like, oh, well, they've got to go do this or this would benefit them. With Ted Everts, he'll already have the answer to that. And I reckon by 5 o'clock tonight, Ted Everts will probably already forgot about this. He now knows he needs to come play darts tomorrow. He'll have an hour or 2 just to have a bit of a sulk, and then after that he'll be fine again. We always say with players, give them 10-15 minutes at the end of a game. You get over it quite quickly. There's always another darts event. The way that the calendar is now, there's always something to look forward to. You don't have to sit dwelling on it for too long, and I think Ted will be raring to go for tomorrow.
Well, there will be no time for dwelling, that is for sure. Scott Taylor, let's have a chat about him, because it feels like when he's at his best, he's putting in numbers, he's putting in performances that makes him almost unbeatable, but it's the bits in the middle that might be his undoing at times.
They're better, though. They are better than what we normally see from Scott Taylor. This is an improved Scott Taylor. I'm liking what I see. I like the qualities I'm seeing. I like the fighting determination that we're seeing in Scott Taylor. He's just got to keep doing it. Trust. We've said that a lot. Trust the process. Don't try chasing. Don't try forcing the issue. Just keep doing what he's doing and keep that dogged sort of fighting attitude rather than what we've seen before where he'll just shake his head and almost get on his own back.
Well, let's talk about Steve Hine. Now, we often talk about the fact that tables don't lie here at the Super Series, but to a certain extent, it's kind of felt like the case for Steve, because if you dissect the way he's played, he's dissect some of the numbers he put in, and some of the things he's had hit against him, if he carries on the vein of form that he's put in Group A, he's going to have more than a chance in Group C, and you fancy his chances, don't you?
He's got to get in the top 2 in a Group C campaign. There's some big hitters in that group as well. The 2 players I put through potentially, when I was talking with Phil Bars, would have ignored the fact Bradley Brooks, who's just come off the Pro Tour, would actually miss out. And that's quite a big call, because when you look at where they've been over the last couple of years, Bradley Brooks, statistically, CV-wise, and certainly form-wise, would be head and shoulders above Steve Hine, but that's not what Steve Hine's turned up here at the Super Series. We've seen Steve Hine sort of roll back the years, and this is the best Steve Hine I've seen for quite some time. And if he can just find that formula to turn these performances into wins. He's had opportunities. He's raced into leads before. Should have won all his games on Tuesday. He's going to be dangerous.
Is he growing into the week as well as the days go along? Are we seeing him get better with every passing day?
Statistically, yes. The stats back that up. And certainly in terms of the wins and the timing of things, is certainly backing that up as well. He's got a fresh start now. This is purely a practice session, shall we say. And it was always going to be that case after starting so poorly on Monday. Monday's one of those things that you can't really win the group, but you can certainly lose it.
Yeah.
And we'll always get 1 or 2 players, and Steve was one of those where you say they're pretty much out of the running here. He was playing for a Group B place, but going into that Group C, he's going to be deadly.
Well, let's have a look at the final standings then in Group A. Just to confirm, that is Sebastian Beety, courtesy of legs difference, that's got over the line ahead of Ted Everts in second space. Scott Taylor will be playing Group B darts tomorrow and Friday night for 9:45. Let's talk about the other 2 players then, the ADC European qualifiers, Jimmy Van Schie and Ollie Holtkamp, 4th and 6th in the group respectively. We've seen enough from them both to show signs of promise, but maybe particularly with Ollie, have we not found that consistent level with them yet?
No, I was literally thinking of my answer as you was asking the question, and it was going to be Jimmy. Jimmy's the man out of the 2 at the moment who's looking the more likely, who's got the more consistency, who's certainly doing the more out on the various tours at the moment. He's got a plan. He knows what he wants for his career, and this is a career to him. This is what he wants to do. So he's taking good strides and he's doing good things here at the Super Series. He's got a little bit more in the consistency, which is why if you had to compare the 2 at the moment, you'd just side slightly in the eyes of Jimmy.
Let's have a look then at what we're going to see for the rest of the week. The tournament bracket breaks down now after 3 days' worth of play. So we know Sebastian Beety is going to be the first player through to Saturday night's final. Whilst we've got a few minutes, Matt, let's dissect Groups B and C together. We'll begin with Group C because you look at that. John O'Shea's just dropped off the tour. Bradley Brooks has just dropped off the tour. Neil Minier's been playing some good stuff around the circuits. We know what Steve Hine's doing, and Jimmy and Ollie have shown in games this week that they can really put it on when it matters. That's possibly as tough a Group C in a qualification week as we may have seen.
It's going to be a group again to enjoy. That's one thing I've really done this week. Enjoy the darts. There's been a lot of stories, been a lot of games, people racing into leads and it fighting back. I feel the same here. I feel this is a very evenly matched group. Obviously, the quality standout acts are the 2 players just dropping off the tour at the moment, John O'Shea and Bradley Brooks. But sometimes it takes a bit of time to get used to this environment. They've never played in this room before. Yes, John O'Shea's played in this sort of format before, but it wasn't here in Portsmouth. So he's got a new practice room, doesn't know where the toilets are, doesn't know where the facilities are. It may take them a couple of games just to settle in. They've never thrown on this stage before, so there could be a big advantage for the players that have.
Well, let's have a dissection in a Group B, and we try and look at this group without... Well, it's almost laughable how good this group is. Ross Montgomery just dropped off the tour. BDO perennial winner. David Evans, who's had success here at the Super Series in the past. Lee Cox, who's hoping to get over the line here at some stage. Ted Evans, Scott Taylor dropping out of Group A. I mean, good luck trying to pick 3 from 5 in that particular persuasion.
Lee Cox has been knocking on the door here at the Super Series for quite some time, but I can tell you now he's going to look at that Group B and think, really, that's what I've got to contend against? This is a Group B where someone could come in and lose all 4 games but still produce a good standard of darts. This is going to be a very fun watch and a great way to round off a double day of darts.
Honestly, that you look at the next 2 days and we could have some good fun. Is there anything potentially we could see in terms of standards? Are we, even though we've had a load of ton plus averages, are we now expecting the next level up?
The 9.
110s, the 9s.
The 9's coming. It's boiling. It's bubbling. It's getting close. People are getting into 6. Not just once or twice. We're seeing it regular. I've seen more 100-plus averages than I think I've ever seen in a Group A before. If there's going to be a 9 in this series, well, it's got to be this week because it's the last week of the series, so I'm going to call it. We're going to see a 9 at some point over the next 3 days.
And the good news is, Mr. 9 Dart at the Super Series himself, Paul Nicholson, is going to be in commentary alongside Matt. Thank you for your company today. We'll spend a bit of time together over the next couple of days, and we'll see you for your company over the next couple of days as well. Please do join us. It's 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on the Super Series YouTube channel for the beginning of Group C, where we've got Bradley Brooks and John O'Shea in action amongst what's going to be a high-quality, high-caliber field. And if it's anything like the drama we've seen today, it's going to be quite the watch where Sebastian Beety gets over the line. But boy, did he have to work for it.
Another one of those. Needs the ball.
I want to say, man, the first time was so nice, I had to do it twice.
And what a way
on
to
the
start the
first
day
leg.
for
Sebastian
Sebastian Beety. He bailed himself out a few times against Steve Hine on finishes like this, and he
James
does
on the
so
first
once
leg.
again
Sebastian
here
Beety.
against Jimmy.
It's a double, but is that awkward? Has to lift it over the top and
James on
does,
the
and that is a
fifth
great
leg.
dart there
Sebastian
from
Beety.
Sebastian Beety.